Thank you. Well, I'll say this. Bob would have loved this. This is so soulful. All the people who cared for him during his life, they're here. Natasha's family, our band, just everyone, and you, all the people who loved him. Now, only a few months ago, just a few miles from where we stand today, Bob and I played our last shows together. As we stood on that stage in Golden Gate Park, 6 days in the rear view, I looked to the right at my old friend, and for a moment, I saw him transformed. Gone was the bushy gray beard, the whiskers, the wisdom, and the age. Instead, like the grains of time turning on themselves, I saw a young Bob again. There he was, a cross-eyed, barefoot young folk singer with the wind blowing through his long brown hair. A teenager again, the boy wonder. We called him Bob Weir. Yeah, he was the boy wonder. The Grateful Dead was a ritual band. I felt it the first time I heard Bob play as I walked into that Straight Theater on Haight Street, September 29th, 1967. That night, the theater was dark enough for the band to disappear into only sound. It was consuming. It permeated every pore in my body. I felt the vibrations creep up my spine, and suddenly I was whole. I was home. Bob was just 19 that first night. At the Straight Theater, his long fingers making chords few others could physically reach or was even possible. His choices, like the way he navigated through life, were his own. What defines those early years, though, was the laughter. Bob was funny, and he loved funny. Bob was the band clown, a very endearing comic relief from the tedium of the road. Always depend on Bob to have a squirt gun or a noisemaker or something going on in airports to attract attention and challenge the rules. Now, we all love breaking the rules. But Bob, he was really good at doing it in public. No doubt, sometimes we could get a little carried away, no doubt. One day, we wake up. Bob announced that we were going to the zoo to record the animals. No, it was a full moon, which was very important to Bob. He assured me. That's when the animals are at their loudest, he said. I thought it was a great idea. But the problem with the plan was that we didn't have a gear, and neither of us were recordists. Owsley, we thought, might loan us his Nagra recorder. So we showed up at Owsley's and taught us how to record. Then at midnight, we arrived at the zoo. But as we climbed the gate, we got entangled in the mic lines. We hung there from the wires on the inside of the fence and laughed so hard that the guards came, shining their lights and grabbing us down. Now, not knowing what to do with us, they let us go. As we left, we paused for a moment and looked back in the rearview mirror, stopping to consider what the recording might have been. But we found the zoo was totally silent, not a sound. That was perfect, Bob. Yeah, there was nothing like Bob Weir, you know. He was singular. He was not a copy of anything that came before. He was a true original. I could sit here and tell you so many stories about our lives together. But at the heart of it all is that this was never just a band. It was a family. Now, we grew up together, we lived together, raised our kids alongside each other. Together, we rode horses across my ranch in Nevada, all the way to the Great Pyramids. We traveled down 1,000 roads, roomed with each other in every blue light cheap hotel, and stood beside each other from New Orleans Parish Prison to the doors of the Oval Office. As he grew older, Bobby fully embodied the role of troubadour, but also became an incredible family man. The bus became home to Bob, Natasha, and the girls. And it always made me happy when I saw that bus coming down the road, mainly because Bob was pretty much late all the time. He was charmingly late, let's put it that way. Bob liked to talk about where the music would be in 300 years. Now, after watching it all build for 60 years, he could envision the depths of our impact hundreds of years down the line. Now, he had that kind of vision. He saw the music in all its different forms and genres. He could hear the songs played symphonically. He could hear them plucked by bluegrass players, hear them woven through a second line, or echoed through the Grand Ole Opry. He knew the songs would have a life of their own, not just because of who wrote them and where they came from, but because of where he felt future generations might take them. Not because of us, but because of all of you. For the Grateful Dead, the music was a necessity, and the connection to a community was its power base. Where that's most tangible is in the encore, when the stage goes quiet and the crowd takes over the song, singing in the absence of a voice from a microphone. It's there, with all of us bathing in the collective refrain, and you can really feel the power of the music, of the community it came from, and ultimately the community that it inspired. The songs of our lives are yours now, and it's up to all of us to keep the refrain building. Love is real, not fade away. I need some help up here. You got it. Hold it. Feels good, don't it? Thank you so much for all the years. Words do not describe my feeling for you, people. If it was not for you, there would be no us. Be sure of that. Hold it tight. See you around.